Kristaps Porzingis, a star player for the New York Knicks, was just traded to the Dallas Mavericks today. It's a weird trade because the Dallas Mavericks gave up a lot for Kristaps Porzingis. The Dallas Mavericks are giving up point guard Dennis Smith, a second-year point guard Dennis Smith Jr. They're giving Wesley Matthews to the New York Knicks. They're giving DeAndre Jordan to the New York Knicks. And the Dallas Mavericks are also giving the Knicks a likely first-round draft pick. What the Dallas Mavericks are receiving are Kristaps Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Courtney Lee. It's been very controversial. In a world of hot takes, a lot of people have said the Knicks are idiots or the Dallas Mavericks are amazing. I think it's a little bit of both. And I want your opinion. Is this a big deal? Is it not? Are the Knicks idiots for trading away Kristaps Porzingis, in your opinion?
I don't think they're idiots. I just think both teams kind of moved laterally for the most part. If anybody won the trade, I do think the Knicks did. Getting DeAndre Jordan, an excellent rim protector.
Because Knicks fans, by the way, Knicks fans are furious. I don't mean to cut you off. Knicks fans are like so mad they lost Kristaps.
That's cool. You can like Kristaps Porzingis, but he averages 17.8 points per game, so round it up to 18, 7 boards, and 3 assists. He's played in 72 games his first season, 66 the second season, and 48 in his third.
So he's consistently injured.
Yeah, and he's not going to be back. He's going to be reevaluated this February. He got injured last February. Oh. So his reevaluation isn't even coming until a full year later.
Yeah.
And so you look at how many games he's missed his first 3 years and how many he's going to miss this year.
Yeah.
Is it really worth it?
So you're saying the Knicks didn't lose a lot by getting rid of Kristaps. They lost a historically injured player.
And I think somebody who, if they don't change their style of game, is going to continue to get injured. So he's messed around with knee tweaks, has had a lot of ankle injuries and lower back pain. So that tells you that he hasn't strengthened his core well enough, and he's not developing his game to play more stationary. Somebody he can learn from, Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki is also a 7-footer who's made a career off of just a simple turnaround jumper.
Yep.
He's not flashy. He's not trying to cross you up with handles like a guard. He plays strong, fundamental, you could call old man's game basketball. And that's why he's successful. That's why he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And that's why he's playing in his 20th year.
So you think that Kristaps learning from Dirk can help him extend his career by playing less like a small guard and more like a big man and have longevity with his body? Because he's 7'3".
Yes, absolutely. I mean, one of the very, 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 very few 7-footers can ever play that way.
Kevin Durant. That's basically it.
You got Kevin Durant. DeAndre Jordan is incredible, but they're not 7'3".
Yeah,
and
7'3" is huge.
And they're not built as thick as Kristaps is. DeAndre
100%.
Jordan's much more cut and fit, but Kristaps, he's a heavy dude at 7'3".
Yeah.
It's not like he's Kevin Durant, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so if he does...
It's hard on the knees. It's hard on your joints.
It's very, very hard on the knees. And Yao Ming being, 7'6" or 7'7"?
7'6", I think.
And he played a very conservative games, but it's just having the weight and that impact on your knees does damage to your body. Whether you like it or not, being tall sucks.
So you see Dirk with the Mavericks transitioning kind of from a player to a player coach, where I think it's interesting too. You have Luka Doncic with the Mavericks, a European player.
Mm-hmm.
You have Dirk Nowitzki there. You have now Kristaps Porzingis coming in.
Yeah, 3 Euros Europe. On one team.
And what people don't understand, if you're not from Europe, I'm not from Europe, but I have friends from Europe. They talk about Dirk Nowitzki is a hero to European basketball players.
Yeah.
And so if you're Kristaps getting to play on the same team with Dirk and Luka, I think that really would be an exciting move for him. And I think it would help. Kristaps is more likely to re-sign in Dallas than with New York because of Dirk's influence, because of Luka.
Right. And I think, to me, Porzingis plays like he wants to be a Luka type player who can play more athletically,
wants to be a guard,
hit a step back. Yeah, that kind of deal. To me, why I say the trade kind of went laterally for Dallas is they lost, Wesley Matthews, one of their best defenders. I think he was a little bit overpaid, but he's one of the best all on-ball defenders. You get rid of Dennis Smith Jr., who is one of the most athletic freaks I've ever seen, but I think he has one of the highest ceilings for players who are just entering the NBA.
Yeah.
And you get rid of DeAndre Jordan, who you lost 2 years ago, were able to re-sign this most recent year, paid him a dumb amount of money, and now you're just willing to let him go for Kristaps, who, again, is just injury-prone. So you're losing your rim protector, your 15-plus board-a-night guy, and you're kind of hanging that on the hat of a player that you already have being Kristaps and Dirk, very similar, and you're hanging a lot on Kristaps coming back from injury and Luka turning into the next LeBron James.
Interesting.
And maybe and part of it is, they're getting rid of those contracts that are also about to expire.
Yeah.
But
DeAndre Jordan's contract will expire.
Yeah,
so will Wesley Matthews.
Yeah, so what are you really doing? Like, their contracts were expiring anyways.
Yeah.
And you're not required to keep them or re-sign them.
Yeah.
So where
you're saying, what did the Mavericks actually? I don't mean to cut you off, too.
I was running out of things to say.
Well, you're saying that what did the Dallas Mavericks actually lose? Because they lost expiring contracts. They're good players.
Yeah.
But they gave up a lot to the Knicks, but they got Kristaps in return. I guess this trade really comes down to, do you believe in Kristaps Porzingis? That's right, because it shows the Knicks don't believe in him long term, and the Mavericks are betting on Kristaps to become a superstar player and remain healthy down the road. The Knicks said, we're done. We don't buy it. We'll take some players, maybe a chance to go get a young draft pick, a really good player like Zion Williamson. And Dallas saying, we're all in on Luka, and we're all in on Kristaps.
I believe in Kristaps Porzingis if he can get healthy. And that's a very, very conditional statement, because coming back from an ACL injury, not easy. When you have knee injuries, it's very, very hard to come back from. Just ask Derrick Rose.
And you're 7'3".
And you're 7'3", which all automatically makes it much more difficult for you.
So the Dallas Mavericks got a player that has potential. Mm-hmm. What did the Knicks get, in your opinion?
The Knicks got, I think, somebody who has, like I talked about, one of the highest ceilings in Dennis Smith Jr. They get an amazing rim protector in DeAndre Jordan, somebody, again, 15-plus boards a night, and is just going to be consistent for you. And
think he'll stay? Is there any chance they re-sign Wesley Matthews and DeAndre Jordan?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think the Knicks suck. I think their front office sucks.
But it's New York. I mean, the allure of being a New York Knick keeps the guy around.
I don't think that's alive anymore.
We'll talk about that, yeah.
I think the allure of being a Celtic or be a Laker is much more alive still than being a New York Knick. And maybe I've never been to the city of New York. I mean, people talk about it all the time, and, big market team. I've never been there, so I don't have the experience and can't really speak on it. But looking from a player standpoint, you had at one point Carmelo Anthony. You had wasn't Derrick Rose on the team as well for the Knicks?
I think briefly, yes.
Derrick Rose. They got some kind of big three. I can't remember who it was.
The point though is you're saying that the Knicks brand is no longer a sell just alone on the Knicks.
No, not
you
at
had
all.
to win. You got there's not a culture in place that says I want to be a Knick just because I want the name.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Back when you had Patrick Ewing, yeah, absolutely. Now, I mean, when was the last time they really, really had success?
Who won the trade?
Knicks.
The Knicks.
Yeah. Easy.
Because they got cap room. They got some good players that might stay. They got a chance at a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
And they got rid of a problem.
That's one of the things, the draft picks.
Yeah.
They're going to get a couple draft picks out of it. So what they're going to do with that, nobody knows. But there's only 2 rounds in the NBA draft.
Yeah.
The draft picks are very important.
Yeah. And the Dallas Mavericks are betting on a guy who's been historically unhealthy.
In my opinion, they're betting on the fact that Dirk Nowitzki is going to teach Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, I hate doing this. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I really don't like self-promotion. It makes me feel like a used car salesman. But I got to do it. So if you don't know, this is my podcast, Strong Opinion Sports. It's my favorite thing in the world. And you can subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud. You can find it on YouTube. You can find the full entire hour-long podcast on YouTube. You can also find shorter breakout clips like the one you just watched. Please do me a favor. If you like anything I had to say, maybe you hate me and you're mad about something, share this podcast with your friends. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you want to do. Help me grow by telling your friends about this show.